coordinator for UnityPoint Hospice. And we just want to welcome you to this remembrance candlelight service. And we also want to thank Friendship Haven for hosting us this year. So it's a beautiful space. Well, maybe we have to keep asking for this. So this remembrance is a way to honor the many lives we have met and the privilege to serve this past several months. We have staff and volunteers from the hospital and hospice here tonight. We also have Christy Fisher, who's going to lead us in music, and she's the worship coordinator with Prairie Lakes Church, and we appreciate her volunteering time. We have David Greinberg, this one, who is our current chaplain, who's going to have our reflection for us tonight. We have Gary Schnook, who was a previous hospice chaplain, but now is the hospital chaplain, who's going to help us tonight. We have some staff from the hospice organization that you might remember. We have Rachel, Mary, Becca, Jenny, Rhea back there, and we have several volunteers helping us this evening. Mary, Sandy, Darlene, and Delana just walked in. So we appreciate them volunteering their time to be with us. So a few household things. I would appreciate if you have a cell phone, if you turn it on silent for us. And hopefully when you came in, you received the program. We're going to kind of follow that format. And you should also be given a candle, which are most of the microphone. And when we get to the part where we read the names of our loved ones, we will ask you to light it, and it's on the bottom. And then I'm going to ask you to bring it up here and put it on the stand. So, on behalf of UnityPoint Hospital and Hospice, we would like to extend our welcome to you, and we will be recording this evening, and it will be downloaded to YouTube, hopefully in the next couple of days, so our friends on YouTube, we welcome you as well. Tonight, we want to honor and remember individuals who touched our lives in countless ways. And I found this poem that kind of reflects the why of why we're here. We gather today out of deep appreciation for the loved ones. We gather because we've had people in our lives we want to remember and who have touched our lives. These are people who have meant the world to us. People who have given the world to us, and now our world seems emptier without them. We gather because events of the past have helped to shape who we are. We have been changed by what has happened to us, and we are still changing as we adapt to new ways, as we go in the ways of being led. We gather because we dare not forget. We dare not forget that we have known joy in many forms and contentment with many faces. We dare not forget that we have been enriched in so many ways. We gather because we have been given evidence of our love. We come together to affirm that we have loved, that we have been loved, and that we love and still are being loved. We gather today to assert our belief that true love never dies, and for that we give thanks. So as we look at our program, well, Chrissy, I didn't ask you this. Is this where we're singing? Or would you like to do your special music?
We can do the opening song, the Amazing Grace.
Okay. So you should have gotten the words to Amazing Grace. We're just going to do the first 3 verses. And I'm going to turn the mic off because you don't know what I'm saying.
Like me.
Dave if he'll come up and share some thoughts with us.
Hello, everybody. I think I know a few people out here. I've been a hospice chaplain since April here. And unfortunately, I'm going to be leaving very soon. It's been an amazing ride, but it's a short ride. I've got to get on with retirement. And so, but let me also just simply say this, that this is the finest group of caregivers I've ever met. And I've been honored and humbled to be a part of such a fantastic team. Thanks to all of you so much. The other thing that's happening here is that I've written something, and I don't usually preach off a manuscript or talk off a manuscript. I'm going to do that today because I want to get it right. So here we go. I don't know if it's going to be right or not, but it is what it is. So a story to tell you, it happened in March, a few years ago. It was a blustery March day, but it was still nice enough to be outside, so my daughter, my youngest, and I decided we're going to load up the dogs and take them for a run. And so we went out to what was then our usual spot, which was the Secor Farm. Those of you who know what Soldier Creek Winery is know the Secor Farm. And the creek runs right through the farm, and there's a couple of grass strips on either side, and it's a perfect place to run hunting dogs. So we went up there, we pulled into the driveway, and Tam and Bill happened to be outside. They were working in the vineyard in March. And so we stopped and we thought we'd chat for a few minutes. Now, it goes without saying that in March, Iowa grapevines don't look very good. They corkscrew out of the ground, and then they reach up a little bit, and then they hang out over the wires, and they show absolutely no signs of life whatsoever. It's just row upon row of these dark crucifixes that are silhouetted against a gray sky in March. And so Tim and Bill, they kept working, and we talked, and as we did so to the mechanical sounds of their pruning snips. The work that resulted in vines that were neat in appearance, but were as lifeless as the stack of branches that were on the debris cart. Now, I understand the why of pruning, how this surgery is essential to the success of the vine, because you cut away branches and it stresses the vine, but that's exactly what you want, right? Because when you stress the vine, it causes the roots to spread out and to deepen. And in the same way, cutting branches focuses the vine's life-giving energy to what remains. And that focused energy, rather than going to a bunch of branches, just going to a few branches, both strengthens the bond between branch and vine, but also promises a harvest that without the work of the pruner in the spring would not be nearly as bountiful. So the why of pruning makes sense, but there was a surprise that day. The surprise was in the what of pruning. Water. I didn't notice it until I happened to brush up against the finished vine, and I felt a wet circle penetrate my shirt sleeve and mat against my forearm. Water, pure and clear, that pushed through that fresh cut and formed a bubble at the end of that lifeless stick. And it swelled and it dripped to the ground. And then another one took its place. And it swelled and it dripped to the ground. And another. And it swelled and it dripped to the ground. Drip, 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 drip. There was another surprise. The late afternoon sun got down between the horizon and the bank of clouds, and you looked around, and it wasn't just that one vine and that one stick. They were all doing it, transforming row after row of those dark crucifixes into sparkling chandeliers, cut weeping with vulnerable tears of hope and promise, swelling, weeping, an eternal shower of life carried through late winter's death and made visible right there in those wounds. Pruning. Most of you have come here this evening to mark a loss that you've experienced. And for some of you, that loss is no doubt very fresh. It's probably happened possibly even within the last few days, if not weeks, if not months. I know some of you come every year at this time so that you can remember and mark the passing of your loved one. Pruning. Of course, when it comes to pruning, mourning's not the only hurt that we experience. There have been other wounds that have come into your life, possibly in the form of sickness, or the loss of independence, or the aching decisions that you've had to make on behalf of a spouse or a parent who can no longer stay at home, and it's fallen to you to make the tough choice. Or maybe it's someone who is right now at the end of their life, someone you love, and your entire family must now come to terms with their death and the heart-wrenching claim that will all too soon fall upon all of you. Pruning. Yeah, there's more. There's the messy business of living with the people that you love and the injuries that you have and will continue to inflict on each other. Injuries that are inevitable to every relationship, but because they happen with you and with your loved ones, they are deeply personal. And they have this way of covering your life with a hardened lacquer of resentment or anger or mistrust. Pruning. There's the stinging slap of inadequacy, of knowing that no matter how hard you try, you'll never be good enough at home or at school or at work. Or else that pruning comes in the exhausting work to maintain a practiced appearance of a neat, well-groomed life. You know how that goes. You slave to tidy your little corner of the world so that it looks so perfect, so right in all the ways that the world tells you are the measures of a successful life. And you got really good at it. But deep down inside, you get sick of the pretense. Sometimes it just makes you want to cry. And so it goes. And so I wondered what I might say to you tonight that might make a difference, given all of that. I suppose I could tell you all the things that one would expect a preacher to say. I could tell you about the benefits that pruning yields, how cutaway branches creates growth and forces you to reach beneath the surface of your world and to seek deeper spiritual things. Or maybe I could remind you that pruning has a way of focusing life-giving energies between the branch and the vine, between you and your Maker. I could say such things. They wouldn't be wrong. But not today. For whatever reason, today is requiring something else. For it is, after all, not the whys of pruning, or obtaining correct answers to unanswerable questions, answers that in the end don't really reach you where you are. No, no sense spending time there when we can talk about the surprise of the what of pruning. Water, primordial juices bubbling up and visible only in hurting, vulnerable, uncertain cuts called life's wounds. And it's there, precisely there, in the place that you least expect to find it. There, where healing is impossible and hope is an irrational pipe dream. There, the magical water, pure, sparkling, and defiantly vibrant, is drawn from unseen places and pumps through the world of lifeless sticks to make its appearance where it simply should not exist. My friends, I've been doing pastoral care for over 40 years. And you know something? It still amazes me. I still see it. it still amazes. I mean, imagine this. Imagine the words, "I am well," uttered from one who was in the last hours of her life. Imagine hearing, "I forgive you," from the stem of a decades-long battle between brothers. Imagine being told, "I love you," by one who carries a resentment the size of Mount Everest. One who until now has believed with all her cynical heart that there is so much history between the two of you that not even an earthquake could move that mountain a single inch. Imagine impossible possibilities. Water flowing, a shower of eternal things raining down from the open wounds of your life, swelling, dripping to the ground. Swelling, dripping to the ground. Swelling, dripping to the ground. And I think that's what I came here to say to you this evening. To raise with you the possibility that life and promise and hope come most powerfully, most fully, and most fruitfully in the places we most dread. And it's there, surprising beyond belief, a hope drips from those open wounds. A promise pushes through the marks of a life beaten down, and it fills gouges raw with pain to form bubbles of peace and healing domes of newness and expectation. And then best of all, look around, and you'll find that it's not just you. For in comes the light, the late afternoon light of the sun, to transform all of our dark cruciform worlds into sparkling chandeliers of life and anticipation. And all of this, every last bit of it, seeps out of pruning's wounds. Now, I can't say that I look forward to those kinds of things. I, for one, hate the hurt. And I hate the way life's pruning strips bare all my comfortable veneers and my pretenses of control. I hate the suffering, I hate the heartache, I hate the trouble and the grief and the death. I hate it all. But you know, if these things must be, and because we are human, they will be, I also pray that such unstoppable, life-giving water would push through your pruning's cuts and there become a place for an eternal shower of healing and life. I pray that for me, and I pray that for each and every one of you. Amen.
I'm going to ask Becca to come forward and we're going to start reading the names Bruce Becker. Lorraine Black. Jennifer Brown. Hal Chase. Betty Crimmins. Mary Ellen Christensen. Marilyn Daniels. Rose Davis. Becca Dilly. Sarah Dilly. Jim Ike. Larry Franks. John Glesney. Leo Goebel. Dixie Gudmundson. Jan Johnson. Lisa Kaufman. Diane Keith. Deb Condolinka. Karen Crop. Paul Coots. Leroy Messina. Harry Lenz. Roger McNeil. Luther Monflein.
Musselman, Shirley Monk, Sally Nelson, Dennis Nitz, Martha Norgard, Eleanor Ostendorf, Linda Poppengay, and Sharon Robinson.
Sherman Rowe, Jean Rubel, Bonnie Russell, Donna Sankey, Debbie Smart, Katie Talbot, Travis Tweet, Jim Siegler,
Just taking a moment to look at the light. Remember all the lives that we are here to remember. Hearing with Eunice and our written remembrance.
Would you please respond where it's bold-faced type? Let us remember the ones who lived and loved deeply, who found the source of their inner strength from you. Let us remember the light-filled ones who enkindled our spirits with their teachings and the spark of their beliefs. Let us remember the risk takers who faced their fears and took action, who sought justice even though they paid a price for it.
We remember them.
Let us remember the vulnerable ones who allowed us to care for them, to be with them in their time of need.
We remember them.
Let us remember the faith-filled ones who led us, and by their words and example, into a deeper relationship with our God.
We remember them.
Giver and sustainer of life, we thank you for those whom we have known and loved. May our lives be shaped by their presence. May our hearts be sustained by their care, and may their lights continue to shine through us. Amen.
Now I'd ask Chrissy to share a song with us.
Blessed assurance, blessed assurance, Jesus is mine. Oh, what a foretaste of glory divine.
would you continue the litany with me? We trust that beyond the absence,
There is a presence.
that beyond the pain,
There may be healing.
that beyond the anger,
There may be peace.
that beyond the hurting,
There may be forgiveness.
that beyond the silence,
There may be a word.
that beyond the word,
There may be understanding.
that through understanding,
There is love.
may the light of those we love continue to shine in our lives.
Again, I just wanna thank you for taking the time to come here tonight and come together and remember those that we love. And I truly appreciate your presence with us here. Take some more cookies with you, so you can sit around and talk if you like.